Hello my fashion lovers, welcome to today's tutorial. Please, if you have not subscribed, please click on the subscribe button. It is free. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. God bless you as you do so. Amen. Today we are going to be looking at how to cut a pencil skirt. How to cut a pencil skirt. To cut the style, I'll be marking on the lining so that you can be able to see what I'm marking, and then I'll transfer to my fabric. To cut the pencil skirts, you're going to fold your material with the biggest part of your body. That is the hip, which is the biggest part. You're going to fold it and cut. So let's start. I'll be showing you how to cut and sew the pencil skirt. I've folded. The biggest measurement I'm working with is 46. When you divide it by 4, it will give you 11. I'll mark 11 here, plus 2 inches sewing allowance. That is the space I need. I'm going to reduce this because I wouldn't want to waste material. To measure out what I need. 11 inches plus 2 inches sewing allowance is what I need. All right, let's start. From the waist to the hip, I'm going to take 9 inches. Waist to the hip, I'm going to take 9 inches. And the length I'm working with, is 34. 34 plus 1 inch sewing allowance will give me 35. 35. I'll mark it here. Then the waist circumference I'm working with is 43. I'll divide 43 by 4. If I divide 33 by 4, it gives me 10.5. So I'll impute it here. 10.5 plus 2 inches sewing allowance, depending on how many inches you want. I'll be taking 2. Then on this key, I marked 11 inches plus 2 inches sewing allowance for the hip. Then I'll connect. Then on this down part, whatever I have here, I have 13.5 here. 13.5. I'm going to take 11 here on this part. I deducted 3 inches. If you want it to be 2 penciled, you're free to deduct any amount you want to deduct from here. And then to mark my dart, you're going to use your nipple to nipple measurement. The one I'm working with is 8 divided by 2. It will give me 4. So I'll mark 4 here. Then on this hip line, I'll come up by, I'm going to take 5 inches. 5 inches for the darts. Then I will take half inch from here, half inch on this side, half inch on this side, and connect to this dart line. And with this, I'm going to use it to cut the fabric. But cutting on my fabric, the fabric is going to be 2 inches. The fabric is going to be 2 inches longer than this. The fabric is going to be 2 inches longer than my lining because I'm going to turn it up. I will sew it and show you. As you progress, you see what I'm talking about. So let's cut. First cut. The back. The difference between the front and the back is going to be the zip allowance. The difference between the front and the back is the zip allowance. I left 1 inch. I folded it. This is the front one. It's just 1 inch. 1 inch for the zip allowance. Now I'm going to cut. Now I'm going to use this place on my Ankara fabric, but the Ankara fabric is going to be 2 inches longer than the lining because I want to turn it up, use it to turn it up. Now I've placed the lining on the fabric to cut the main fabric, but before cutting the main fabric is going to be 2 inches longer than the lining, 2 inches longer than the lining. So I'm going to measure 2 inches. I will use this to turn it up. Then I will cut. Now I will cut. Cutting the back, I'm still going to leave 2 inches at the down part, at the hem part, so that I can be able to hem it very well. For the back, I've placed the back. I'll measure the 2 inches. I'll measure the 2 inches. Then for the dart, it's still the same. Because of the 1 inch zip allowance, make sure you mark out your 1 inch zip allowance so I can notch it. For the dart, it's still the same. From this zip allowance, I will take 4 inches. And I will take 5 inches down for the darts. From here, I will take ½ inch. From here, I'll take ½ inch and connect. Make sure you notch your zip allowance. Notch the zip allowance before you pull it up. Open up the back parts. I'll cut it out. Open up the zip allowance. To sew the front part, we're going to open it up. I'm going to use iron to remove this. Open it up. From the front part, I'm going to place the lining on the front part. You place the lining on the front part and sew. Place the lining on the front part and you're going to sew with 1/2 inch. We're going to sew the lining with 1/2 inch. Let me sew it and show you. I've finished stitching it with 1/2 inch on the front part. Stitch with 1/2 inch. Do not forget to put your dart. Stitch with 1/2 inch. Now I'm going to move it. The 2 inches I left, I'm going to move it down. I'm going to see how I'm going to do it. I notched the part, so I'm going to push this down. I'm going to push this lining down. I'm going to bring up. I'm bringing up the 2 inches that I left. I'm bringing it up. I notched it so that I will know this is where it is. I'll bring it up. Then from there, from this place, I'll mash it down with 1/2 inch allowance before turning it to the front side. When you fold it, when you take it up the allowance we left for the turning. Then when you turn it, then you mash it from this place, not from the lining, from this place. You mash it down. From this place, you mash it, take it down. Let me sew it and show you. After running the down past stitches and the sides, I've turned it to the front. I've turned it to the front. See how the down part is going to be. Then use your iron to iron it out. So that when you wear it, you're not seeing any lines on the front. This is how it's going to be. This is the same thing I'm going to do to the back. I'm going to do the same thing to the back before I stitch it together and put my zip. The same thing I did in the front, that is the same thing I'm going to do at the back. You take the front part of the back skirt, you put your lining on top, use 1/2 inch and mash it down. Mash it down before you turn. Almost the same thing I did in the front. I finished mashing it with 1/2 inch. Then I will raise it up. Raise the allowance that I left. Turn it up. I finished mashing it with 1/2 inch, so I'm going to turn it up like this. Move it up. Push it down. I'm going to push it down. Then mash from here that I pushed it down. Mash it down, then turn it to the front. So after turning it, I'm going to take from the down part, I mesh the two bags together. Now from the down part, I'm going to take the opening. I'm going to take 15 inches. I will take 15 inches for the opening. Then from this zip allowance of 1 inch, I will mark it down. I will stitch and stop here. I'm going to stop here. This is going to be the opening, the slits. Then from here, if you're going to take your zip, if you're going to put your zip, you're going to take 9 inches. Then stitch here from here to here. But if you're not going to put zip, like my client wants me to put rope, so I'm going to fold this place down. I'm going to put it down and put rope for her. So I'm going to stitch it from here. I'm going to stitch from here to here and leave this place for the opening, for the slit opening. Then I'm going to fold the upper part and insert the rope because she doesn't want zip. But if you're going to put zip, just leave this allowance for your zip, then stitch from here to here. Now we are going to shape with the measurements. But shaping it, since I'm going to be putting rope, not zip. The waist measurement, I'm going to use the hip measurement for the waist. I'm going to use the hip measurement for the waist. But if you're going to put zip, you use your normal waist measurements. For the rope, for the waist, the measurement I'm working with is for the hip. The measurement I'm working with is 46. 46 divided by 2 will give me 23. So from here, I take this as my, where I will put the rope, minus this 1 inch. So from here is my hip line. This is my hip line. So I'm going to take 23 inches from here. This is my 23 inches. This is my 23 inches. So I'm going to measure what I have here. What I have here is 3 inches. When I divide it by 2, it's going to be 1.5. So on this side, I'll measure 1.5. And on this side, I'll measure 1.5. The same thing with the waist, 1.5. The waist, measure 1.5. I'm going to sew it down. I'm going to take it down. The same thing with the other side. Take it down. Let me sew it and show you. To cut out the rope for the skirt, I'll be folding. I won't be putting any band. I'll just be folding it in 2 inches. I'll make use of 2 inches. I'll fold it in and stitch with 2 inches allowance. And the waist circumference I'm working with is 43. So the rope I'm going to cut is going to be, I'm going to make it 46 inches long because the waist is 43. So I'm going to make it 46 inches long, or I can make it 50. I'll make it 50 inches for the rope. I'll cut the rope, fold this place, leave like 2 inches where I will insert the rope. Let me cut the rope and show you. I finished cutting the rope of 50 inches. Now I'm going to turn it, stitch it with 1/4 inch, then turn it to the front. I finished attaching the rope. See how it is. See how it is. You attach the rope at the middle of your skirt. See how it is. If you have any question, please ask in the comment section. Like and comment on my video. Please subscribe. I love you all. See you next time. And subscribe because I post videos like every day of the week. So subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of the videos. Thank you very much.